Hi, welcome to What's Cooking with Rochelle. Today we are making butternut squash soup. Yum! Who doesn't love a creamy bowl of soup, especially in the fall? Okay, so if you don't love butternut, you can absolutely switch to a different kind of squash. You could use acorn. You could use any of the many varieties of squash out there. Not spaghetti squash though. To get started, what we're going to do is we're going to get our burner on to heat our pot. We are cooking it in a Dutch oven type pot, which means it's going to have a thicker bottom to prevent it from burning. If you don't have one, you can absolutely do it with a regular. You're just going to have to stir it every once in a while. Okay, so we are going to use this whole bad boy onion here. And we are just going to rough chop it because we're eventually going to puree the soup in a blender. So getting everything to be beautiful is not a necessity with this. All right. I'm just so excited to be here today. I'm just being silly. That's why I'm crying. The onion is very fragrant. We got that covered. Okay, so let's get a little bit of olive oil in the skillet. We're gonna put these onions in there and saute them until they are browning. Once we see that starting to shimmer, then we're going to know that that is hot enough to start cooking anything. I'm like crying, like full on. Okay, so to that we're going to add our garlic. I have one large one here. If you love garlic, feel free to go ahead and make it 2 or 3 or whatever floats your boat. I don't think I'd go more than 3. And again, we're just rough chopping it because we are only looking for this to caramelize a little bit. Pro tip, if you don't have a Dutch oven pot, you're going to want to caramelize your onions about halfway before you add the garlic so the garlic does not burn. Burnt garlic does not taste good. Okay, now to the butternut squash. I am going to peel it, then chop it into cubes. You can peel it with whatever kind of peeler you would like to use. I just am a fan of these. I don't cut myself, which is probably a good thing. I've been known to do it once or twice, as well as burn myself, as you guys have seen in the past. It's all part of the fun of cooking, right? Okay, let's do this part. I love the color butternut squash soup, that beautiful orangey yellow color. It's just really attractive, I think. Definitely makes me think about fall. And you can, if you don't want to go through the trouble of obviously chopping your onion, you can buy onion already chopped. You can buy butternut squash in many places that has already been peeled and cut into cubes. So again, you could do that as well if you would like. Let's get rid of all this. I do have a trash can there. I'm not just throwing it in the floor. All right, so the way this guy is built, it's kind of hard to do that middle part without cutting it, so we're just going to get in and cut it. It should probably take about 10 minutes for your onions to caramelize. We're going to get them a nice brown color. You don't want them burnt, but you do want to release the sugars in them and caramelize it. Okay. Just make sure you get all the skin off because it will be hard. And if it purees into it, it'll give it kind of like a bitter taste. This is the way we are making it vegan, vegetarian. If you want to add cream at the end, you could. But we are not going to be doing that today. All right, let's get a little bit more. You do have to take the seeds out of the center, and you'll see when I get to the next one. There's going to be seeds in the bottom part. Because the skin is hard on the outside of most squash, it's a little more effort to peel it. And the stuff you buy in the store that's already peeled and chopped is usually relatively inexpensive. It's going to be more than buying it and chopping it yourself, but not obscenely. Okay, I think we can peel that. Okay, so you're going to want to use a spoon to scoop out the seeds. You've seen me do this before. Scoop along the edge, like so.
The camera can't see.
Okay, one down. You put your spoon in, scoop along the edge. This is the hardest part. I'm just joking. All right. And then once you've got a pretty ball, you scoop down underneath it. And as you can see, it'll all come out as one, and then you're nice and clean. Okay, let's continue to chop this up. And you do need the onions to be caramelized before we add any of the other ingredients. So the smaller you chop your pieces of squash, the faster it's going to cook. So it's up to you how big of a chop you do. I'm just gonna randomly just chop them here. You want to get about a 3-pound butternut squash for the amounts that we're doing today. If your squash is bigger or smaller, you can adjust from there. Okay, we've got our squash chopped. Now on to our herbs. I have fresh sage here. And we are just going to give this a chop. You want to get about a tablespoon of chopped sage, fresh sage. If you don't have fresh, no worries. You're going to need a teaspoon of dried sage. And that looks good enough. Put that back in there. The next spice we are going to be making is rosemary. Now this is fresh rosemary. We only need a half of a tablespoon of fresh rosemary. So I might have gotten a little too much from the garden. Rosemary and sage are really nice fall seasoning flavors. If you're not familiar with them, experiment. You might actually like it. Okay, again, we're just going to chop it. Just like so. We're going to put this in our little bowl. Last one is ginger. I have fresh ginger here. You need to peel the ginger first. And the back of a spoon works really great for this. And my onions need me to pay attention to them. I can hear that. Alrighty, let's get the ginger finished. Our onions are ready for us. Okay, now this ginger, you could chop if you chopped it finely. We are actually going to grate it. So to do that, I have a grater, and we are looking for a teaspoon of grated ginger. And what this does is it keeps the pulp out and gives you the good stuff. All right, let's get our herbs added in to our mixture. And that was about a inch piece of ginger that gave me what I needed. Again, for the rosemary, we only need a half of a tablespoon. And for the sage, we are doing 1 tablespoon. We're going to let that cook for just about a minute. And then we are going to add in our squash, give it a quick swirl to just get it hot, and then add in the vegetable broth, cover it, and let it reduce. Ah, I wish you guys were here. You can smell that. It smells so divine. All right, now that is going to take between 20 to maybe even 35 minutes, depending on how big your pieces are, to cook. And so we're going to leave that covered and just let that simmer. Not simmer, higher than a simmer, but you don't want it boiling. So you want it to be cooking at a medium to medium low temperature. Like I said, at least 20 minutes. It's probably going to take 30 minutes, okay? And I will see you back here and then we can dig in. All right, so our soup is done. We actually turned it off and let it cool for just a minute on the stove. Doesn't that look wonderful? Ah, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to blend this. Now, I'm going to use an emulsion blender. If you don't have one, you can use a regular food processor or more preferably a stand blender. And we are going to just puree this until it's smooth. If you want to make yours thinner, if it's too thick, if you don't want to be vegan, you can add milk or cream. If you want to stay the same, either add water or more broth. Definitely we're going to check it and see how it tastes to see if we need to add salt, pepper, or anything like that at the end as well. Okay, without further ado, let's get her going. Okay, and that is it. We are going to taste it for salt and pepper. I am going to go ahead and plate it, and we're going to garnish it with just a little bit of fresh parsley today. I'll see you back here in a sec. Okay, the best part of the day, we get to eat. Yummy, yummy. I did sprinkle just a little bit of goat cheese on the top of mine. But I would serve it on the side, especially if you're not sure what, people eat, if they're vegan, vegetarian, carnivore, omnivore. This is such a nice treat. Make sure you taste it. Add salt or pepper to your taste. We did add a little bit. I used a low sodium broth for mine. If you use a full sodium broth, you probably will not need to add any salt. But of course, make it how you want. If you want the pretty color, do not caramelize your onions. That's what causes the darker color. So if you're looking for the lighter color in your butternut squash soup, stick the butternut squash, onions, and all the aromatics in at the same time with the broth. I hope you've enjoyed this recipe and one of the other amazing ones that I have. Please subscribe below, and I thank you for watching. Send your friends and family. Let them know what great quality recipes we have here that can keep you healthy, happy, and quick and easy. Thank you for watching What's Cooking with Rochelle. Bye for now.